Hey there and welcome to SI Now. It's Friday, December 23rd, and I'm Ryan Asselta along with Super Bowl champion Chris Canty, and it's 2 days until Christmas, and our gift to you is NFL football. Now, Peter King, in his alter ego as that jolly elf Peter Claus, will share his naughty and nice list coming up in just a bit, and we're going to look back also at the Super Bowl experiences of Roger Staubach, Torrey Holt, and Joe Theismann. But first, Chris and I will go 4 downs for Christmas, and we begin on first down. Could the Vikings, Chris, raid the Pac's playoff hopes? Christmas Eve is going to give us 12 games on Saturday. Not bad. We start in that NFC North with the Packers. They've won 4 in a row. They're back in the playoff hunt. Green Bay is going to host Minnesota. Minnesota coming off by far their worst loss of the season in Week 15. Vikings, can they give the Packers any kind of trouble in this game?
No, I think the Vikings are going to find a little coal in their stocking. And after that performance that they put up, particularly on the defensive side of the ball against the Indianapolis Colts and Andrew Luck allowing over 400 yards and 34 points, you have to be disappointed in that performance at home where the Vikings have been really good this season. But looking at the ball that the Green Bay Packers are playing, Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson, that group starting to have that confidence, getting that mojo going, I see it tough for the Minnesota Vikings to be able to slow that group down right now. Ty Montgomery is giving them a little balance, being able to run the ball out of the backfield. Even though he's a receiver by trade, he's giving them elements in the running game, what Aaron Rodgers needs in order to facilitate that passing game and be as efficient as he can be. So I really like what they're doing on the offensive side of the ball for the Green Bay Packers. Now if they can get that defense to be a little more opportunistic, be more bend but don't break, don't give up 7, hold teams to 3, I think this Green Bay team can be really dangerous later in this at the end of the regular season and moving on into the playoffs.
You kind of feel like the Packers got their season-defining moment, that shot to Jordy Nelson at the end of this past Sunday's game. All right, let's move on to second down. Big Ben versus Flacco and the Birds. This is a huge game in the AFC North as the Steelers and Ravens renew their heated rivalry. Steelers lead the division by a game. Chris, you know the Ravens very well. You dislike the Steelers very much during your playing days. Who has the edge in this ballgame?
Well, the Ravens have won the last 3 matchups, but you're playing Christmas Day in Pittsburgh. It's going to be a tough environment. Those terrible towels will be waving. It's going to be a playoff style of atmosphere. So to me, it's about the team that can establish the running game, and the Pittsburgh Steelers have been able to do that more so than the Baltimore Ravens. Lev Bell being able to go in terms of being patient, using the blocking from the offensive line, but also being a dynamic receiver out of the backfield. And you see how explosive this Pittsburgh Steelers offense can be with the passing game. So I would give the edge to the Pittsburgh Steelers at home on Christmas. All of the emotion will be going. The Ravens will make it a game. It'll be physical. It'll be tough. It'll be hard fought. But ultimately, I think the Steelers emerge as the winners of this game and ultimately the AFC North Division.
They faced off in Week 9. Baltimore won this game by a touchdown. Bell had just 32 yards that first time around, so we'll see if they get him more involved early on in this one. All right, third down, the Chiefs try to send Denver home for the new year in the AFC West. Chiefs are going to, take on a Broncos team is on the verge of being eliminated from the playoffs. Chiefs coming off a brutal loss at home to Tennessee in the last seconds. Which Kansas City team do we expect this week, Chris? The team that we thought were maybe Super Bowl contenders or the team that's kind of hit a road bump here?
Yeah, it's a little curious to see Kansas City lose at home in Arrowhead, typically a place that they play very well in, another tough environment in the National Football League. But they lost to Marcus Mariota at home. They lost to Jameis Winston about a month ago at home. Really strange by the Kansas City Chiefs, but ultimately I think they show up. It's getting close to playoff time now. They understand that they have to execute. This is a veteran ball club. Alex Smith being able to facilitate that offense, doesn't make a lot of mistakes. That defense has got to come back around. They were going into Sunday, they were tied for number 1 in takeaways with 25. They've got to get back to being able to take the football away, interceptions, fumbles, things of that nature. They can rush the quarterback, so that's a great sign, and that's going to bode well for them going forward. But again, they're playing a division opponent at home at Arrowhead. You got to feel good about the Kansas City Chiefs and their opportunity, their chance right here to put the Denver Broncos away for good.
First time meeting this season was a thriller, one of the best games of the year. The overtime, Chiefs, remember Tyreek Hill had the 3 touchdowns in that ball game. All right, let's move on to fourth down. The Lions, will they roar in Dallas? They had their win streak snapped this past week. Monday night, Detroit heads to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Chris, possible playoff matchup here. What does Detroit have to do to kind of disrupt what Dallas has done so well this year, and that's run the football?
Well, I think we saw the formula to beat the Dallas Cowboys when they played the Minnesota Vikings, and then obviously against the New York Giants in MetLife Stadium You got to be able to take the football away. You got to be able to steal possessions from that offense, because with that offensive line and that running game, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when they're going to put up points. So you got to steal possessions from Dak Prescott, from Ezekiel Elliott. If you can do that, you give yourself a chance. Now, that's something that the Detroit Lions defense has been able to do in spots, but Darius Slay got a little banged up in their game against the Giants. And of course, when you look at what the Dallas Cowboys are doing, Dak Prescott was money against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday night. Didn't make a whole lot of mistakes. Ezekiel Elliott, that run game got going. I see it's going to be tough for the Detroit Lions to go down into Dallas and get a win, especially when Dallas has to win to keep pace, to keep the division lead, because it's a hot Giants team that's trying to overtake them, and they have the tiebreakers head-to-head.
And you got Detroit with Green Bay breathing down their neck. They're starting to feel the heat, so
Yep.
everyone's feeling the heat. It's
Everybody's
that time
feeling
of
the heat.
year, right?
It's cooling off, but the NFL is heating up.
Absolutely. Merry Christmas to you, my friend.
Happy holidays, my friend.
All right. All right, Peter Klaus is going to join me in a minute. But first, it's time once again for our SI Now full-on feature countdown to the new year. In no particular order of greatness, because, as you know, we like them all. Here's our number 6 favorite feature of the year, a decades-long look at the NFL's biggest game from 3 champions of different eras. Roger Staubach, Torrey Holt, and Joe Theismann remember their Super Bowl experiences.
I was a backup quarterback to Craig Morton, and Craig was really a good quarterback, and I thought maybe I'd get a chance to play a little bit because he did have some injury issues, and but the game was tight. It was a close game all the way, and we were leading all the way till the end. So after the game, actually coming back on the team plane, I told Coach Landry that I really needed to be traded if I didn't get a chance to play someday, and that was a big turning point. If we win the game, my life could have changed. I wanted us to win, but losing the game, he then told both of us that we'd be competing for the starting job in '71, which was the year we won the Super Bowl, and so Super Bowl V was a tough loss, but it also gave me an opportunity for Super Bowl VI.
When I went out on the football field, I purposely decided I was going to walk the entire football field. And I took every step and sort of tried to remember the feel of the grass under my feet. And looking at that thing, and I'm thinking, boy, this is the most beautiful carpet I've ever seen in my life. And the way the end zones were painted, the color, the pageantry that goes with it. And I remember just trying to really absorb the moment. To capture that moment in my mind and keep it forever. No matter what happened, we were at a Super Bowl. I was going to be the quarterback of a football team that was going to play in a Super Bowl.
The thing that stands out to me the most about winning that Super Bowl was Media Day, because we had made it. We had St. Louis Rams went from the lowly Rams to the pinnacle, the greatest show on turf, one of the best offensive football teams to ever be assembled. And I remember the adrenaline that we spent just getting ready, doing warm-ups. Remember some guys coming in after warm-ups having to get IVs because of the adrenaline, the charge, the excitement, just ready to go.
I was a nervous wreck the whole time. I was when we got down to New Orleans, I was in Coach Landry's room every night. His wife finally said, "Let the guy alone," And so I was, I really didn't want to make any mistakes in the game. And Walt Garrison said, asked him, "Hey Walt, do you ever see Coach Landry smile?" And he said, "No, but I've only been here 9 years." And actually, Walt and a couple players were carrying Coach Landry off the field. I can still see the smile on his face of winning that first Super Bowl. So I was really excited about just being the quarterback on a team that was fighting for years before I was here to try to win a Super Bowl.
What it was like for me as the quarterback handing the ball to John, I kept thinking, I've got the best seat at the Super Bowl. You can't pay enough money for the seat that I have to see what's going on. And you start to watch John get more and more comfortable. It's the more you fed him, you could see him start to lather up a little bit. he's starting to lather up. And when I talk about the best seat in the house, this truly was the best moment to be in the best seat in the house. I turned around and handed the ball to John. And as he went through the line, I saw the hole open. I saw Clint Didier, our tight end, come across and get on the outside. And then Don McNeil comes up and he hits John flush. And John's legs are just churning. I mean, they are churning. And I'm back there and I'm sort of now I'm cheering. And I see Clint Didier running down the field alongside of him almost. And I'm going, Clint, don't clip anybody. Don't clip anybody. Don't throw a block. John's, don't do it. Don't do it. Just, yeah! I mean, he's there. I mean, that moment was unbelievable.
The last few plays of that Super Bowl game, I was down on the other end of the field. I'm like, look, we're good. We're going to win the game. The defense is going to make the play. We're going to get out of here. The confetti's going to come down. We're going to be Super Bowl 34 champions, so don't worry. The ball hikes. It was like slow motion. You know, Dyson is going into his route. McNair is getting into his drops. The receivers are doing that deal. And I just saw the ball thrown, but from my vantage point, I couldn't really see what was going on. And then all of a sudden, I just seen Mike Jones just come out of nowhere and grab Dyson's legs and get him down. And then I saw Keith Lyle run and try to sweep at the ball like this, because I didn't know how far he was from the end zone until I saw the TV copy. And I saw Keith Lyle swipe at the ball, and the referee was like, he's down, game's over. And then from that point on, we just rushed the field. And then you see the confetti and stuff coming down, and I was like, we are world champions.
So cool. No one knows what it's like to be in a Super Bowl better than those guys. Well, it's the most wonderful time of the year. 2 days and counting until Christmas, and what better way to get you ready for the holiday than welcome in the MMQB's Peter King, who's back for his second annual NFL Naughty and Nice List. And Peter is kind enough to be playing the role of the jolly elf, Peter Claus. Peter, Merry Christmas. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks so much. Good to be here. Look at me. I'm beautiful.
You really are.
Yeah.
You don't look like an elf, though. I think that's a little rough. Yeah. All right, let's start with the naughty list, Peter. Which coach, player, or even a storyline this season belongs on your naughty list?
Every year I go to the majority of training camps, and I've been to the Jaguars like 4 or 5 years in a row. And this was the year it was going to be different. They had all the new pieces on defense. Blake Bortles and his treasure trove of receivers coming off a huge offensive year in 2015. It's been a nightmare. So that now Jacksonville is going to have to go, sort of search the, under the tree and say, do we go get a successor to Blake Bortles? Do we give him one more shot? Or do we use another high draft choice on a quarterback? So that's what they're going to have to do in their post-Christmas kind of depression.
We know not everyone's been bad, of course. There are people and teams on the nice list. Who's headlining your nice list this Christmas?
My nice list is going to be headlined by Jerry Jones of the Dallas Cowboys. And this is why. For the last 20 years, Jerry Jones has turned on the radio in Dallas, read the national papers, watched TV, and heard about what a lousy team architect he is, what a terrible general manager he is. So what happens this year? He gets Ezekiel Elliott, who's probably going to win a rushing title with the first-round pick, and then with the 135th pick overall, he gets a quarterback who looks like he's going to be the quarterback of the long-term future, Dak Prescott. And I think Jerry Jones basically has listened to his son, Stephen Jones, who's kind of been a good influence on him because he gets him off his high horse, says, don't take Johnny Manziel, take Zach Martin, which has turned out great. And so I think that the combination of people running the Dallas Cowboys, they lead my nice list this year.
Let's say it's going to be a Merry Christmas in Jerry's world this year. Plenty of teams are looking for some serious help next season, which makes your job this time of year very difficult, Peter. Let's start with the Cleveland Browns. What are you hearing from Cleveland Browns, what they want most for Christmas?
Well, I think they want to answer the age-old quarterback question. So I think the Browns, as soon as their nightmare of a season ends, on New Year's Day, I think what you're going to see Cleveland do is go into full court mode of finding a quarterback, whether it's going to be in free agency, whether it's going to be through the trade market or in the draft. Now, the draft this coming year is not great for quarterbacks. So if you've got the first pick in the draft, you're probably thinking, we probably don't want to use that pick on a quarterback. I think it's most likely that they're going to look more for a veteran quarterback if they look very high. And to me, the best veteran quarterback, even though he's unproven, is Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think the Browns should package several of their picks. They've got 7 picks in the first 2 rounds of the next 2 drafts. They need to package 3 of those picks and go get Jimmy Garoppolo from New England.
Cleveland is hoping Jimmy Garoppolo comes down the chimney and is placed under their tree this
indeed.
Christmas season. All right, from day one, Rudolph has always exceeded expectations. Which player in the league was laughed at, called names, yet had a big 2016 on the field?
Well, I'm going to give you one that I don't know that a lot of people really are conscious of or heard of or think very much of. And his name is Cameron Brate. He's the tight end for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the Bucs had taken with a high pick a couple of years ago, Austin Seferian-Jenkins. They thought he was their long-term tight end. And with Jameis Winston, they wanted a security blanket. They wanted the next Jason Witten. Well, Austin Seferian-Jenkins didn't work out. They cut him this year. And so Cameron Brate, free agent from Harvard, comes in. And right away, last year, after he comes back on the roster, they had him and then they cut him and then he comes back and they say, man, this guy's every bit as effective and as good a blocker, maybe a little bit better blocker than Austin Seferian-Jenkins. And I'm telling you, this year, if you ask Jameis Winston, okay, he's got Mike Evans up here as a wide receiver, but I think they have been absolutely thrilled that Cameron Brate has turned into really Jason Witten light in Tampa.
Big part of the Bucs' recent playoff surge here. Peter, what about the commissioner, Roger Goodell? A year ago, he appeared on your naughty list. Has he done enough? He's been called the Grinch in the past. Has he done enough to make his way to your nice list?
Well, the reason why I would say that the jury is still out on Roger Goodell and why I don't know whether he's naughty or nice, in part because he's pulled a disappearing act this year. He's rarely seen. He's rarely heard from. You don't really know what he thinks about a lot of the major issues. The NFL this year basically decided, look, if Roger Goodell is going to get the tar booed out of him all the time he goes in public, let's not put him in public. So I think what that has spawned basically is a, where's Roger? Like where's Waldo? And so I think what really is going to tell the tale with Roger Goodell is if people really start to buy that the NFL is doing enough for long-term head trauma, is doing enough on the domestic violence issue. Once people think that those 2 things are being properly handled by the league office, I think it's going to be safe for Roger Goodell to come out of his cave and to celebrate Christmas with the rest of America.
Sounds like Santa Claus, does it?
Yes.
He was there, but no one really saw him there, right? Everyone, Peter, has a favorite Christmas present, whether it's childhood or this previous Christmas. Which team is looking back at the past year and said, wow, this player was quite the gift this year?
Well, I'll give you a 3-headed gift that the New York Giants got this past year, and that is in free agency. The Giants went out and spent about $200 million, but they signed 3 players for that defense that was one of the bottom 3 defenses in football. Now, this year, the Giants have one of the top 5 or 6 defenses in football. You saw it twice against the Dallas Cowboys. Janoris Jenkins at cornerback, he has been not at a Pro Bowl level, he has played at an all-pro level. Olivier Vernon comes from Miami for huge money, and he has done a really good job being like the alter ego on the defensive front. And then Damon Harrison, as Chris Collinsworth said on the broadcast against Dallas, he said there's not a better run stuffer in football this year. So I think Jerry Reese, the general manager, deserves a Christmas card from every one of those Giants fans out there. MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey, 07073. I remember because I used to work there.
You know that zip code.
I do.
Good for you.
Send a card to Jerry Reese and say, thank you for making our new year worth living.
Now, Peter, we all know not all gifts are great. Everyone's gotten that ugly sweater from Aunt Betty or the itchy scarf you want to get rid of. Which team is kind of digging through the receipts and trying to make a return this Christmas season?
Well, I know the fans, I think, in San Francisco want to make a return on Chip Kelly. because, he has not delivered a great offense. He's not delivered a winning team, not even close. But I'm here to tell you, hold on to your gift receipt. You're not going to want to use it. As a matter of fact, put the gift receipt in the shredder, because in 2017, you're going to start to really like Chip Kelly. I believe that the 49ers are going to turn it around. They're going to show faith in Kelly. I don't know about that front office, but they're going to show faith in Kelly, and they're going to prove to the fans who now want Kelly exiled to Eugene, keep him here in the Bay Area, and he's going to be a long-term winner for that franchise.
All right, we are 2 days from Christmas. People got to get prepared. Leave the cookies and milk out for Santa. If Peter Claus is coming, Allagash White
Yes.
and a really bold latte will do the trick
Yes.
for Peter Claus. Peter, thanks so much and Merry Christmas.
My pleasure. Thanks.
All right, well, after the Christmas Eve candlelight service, a turkey dinner, carols by the fire, and gifts under the tree, what could be better than a full helping of sports? Here's a look at what's on tap in the world of sports this Christmas Day. This is SI Now's Weekend Drive, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. First, we head to Cleveland to see the Cavs and Warriors clash for the first time since last year's Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Cavaliers point guard Kyrie Irving knows all eyes will be on this star-studded matchup.
Everyone knows in the world this is what the people wanted to see, regardless, of us playing the two top teams, number one and Eastern Conference and Western Conference respectively, and this is what it's about right here. Top-level basketball, just a lot of great players on one court at one time and two great teams, so just competing.
Should be plenty of points in this one. Both teams rank in the top 4 in offense in the NBA. Next, we're off to Honolulu for some college bowl game action. The Rainbow Warriors of Hawaii will face the Blue Raiders of Middle Tennessee. Blue Raider linebacker DJ Sanders is excited to be playing his bowl game in such a tropical paradise.
It's another opportunity to go out and play football with my brothers and have some fun in a place we probably will never go again. I know I probably won't never go back there, and so I'm going to enjoy it. I really look forward to seeing Coach Stark do that hula dance.
Maybe we'll see some pictures of Coach Stockstill's hula dance on the Blue Raiders Instagram. Lastly, we head to Kansas City for an AFC West battle between the Chiefs and the Broncos. Chiefs QB Alex Smith only threw for 1 touchdown in KC's victory earlier this season and knows just how tough the Denver D is.
This team, I think they do a great job taking the ball away. It's certainly one of their strengths. I think they're really good up front, getting pressure, experienced on the back end. They have the one rookie corner, but the other 3 guys back there have played a lot of football at this point. Fast at linebacker, they run really, really well. So, another challenge for us this week.
The Broncos are sporting the league's #1 defense against the pass and look to keep that going Sunday night. And that's what's in store for this weekend. And that's going to do it for this edition of SI Now. I want to take a moment to offer our heartfelt Christmas wishes to all of you, our viewers and fans, and your families, however you choose to celebrate. On behalf of Maggie Gray, our producers D.T. Sloffman and Joe Rivera, along with our entire SI Now staff, I'm Ryan Asselta saying so long and Merry Christmas.